Welcome back to Golf Weekly. As I mentioned before the break, this week Hilton Head is hosting the Golfweek Amateur Tour Championship with 680 players involved. That's right, I said 680. And to help us discuss it, we have the founder and owner of the tour, Mr. Dennis McCormac. Dennis, thank you so much for taking some time and joining us. I'm sure your week is very, very busy, needless to say.
It is. Thanks for having us. And again, we love coming to Hilton Head.
Well, we're really pleased that you're here. And like we talked about right before we went on air, this is your, as you said, the 6th year that you've hosted the Tour Championship here?
That is correct. It is the 6th season. The first year we had about 340 players, and now we've blossomed up to 680.
Now we've got 680 players.
Yeah, over 7 courses.
Alrighty then. So we need some good weather. We don't need any rain delays, that's for sure.
That's right.
Let me ask you something. How did you get to start this? How did you get to be the tour founder? Give us a little bit of history on what's going on.
Sure. I grew up playing golf. I started caddying when I was 8 years old on a country club in St. Louis, and got competitive and started playing. Played in high school, played a couple years in college, and then realized, you know, I just wasn't good enough to move on. Got in the real world. I was in event marketing. I was a sports marketing guy and always wanted to do something in golf. But unfortunately, the powers that be, the companies I worked for, did not. So when I went out on my own as an entrepreneur, I decided to start not only what I was doing in business, but also start a little league in Charlotte. And kind of one thing led to another. I did it for 1 year and had about 50 guys play about 6 tournaments, and they said, hey, let's do it again next year.
And you were doing this maybe on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, or?
That is correct. I was doing it on the weekends, call it the working man's tour, so I was doing it bi-weekly. And then with the age of the internet, all of a sudden I built a web page, and guys started contacting me from all over the country, and currently now the tour is in 42 cities around the country with over 4,000 members.
Wow. How did you get involved with Golfweek? How did they become part of the equation?
We had met with them several different times on trying to do a regional sponsorship deal, and then just one day they called us. They had a new president come into the magazine, and they said, you know, we need to look at some properties outside the box, meaning, you know, other ways that we can get to golfers and dedicated golfers, which they're, as you know, a great amateur magazine. So they called us. We worked out a deal where we get, you know, sponsorship from them, as well as we get a story in the magazine every week. And the great thing is, as soon as this finals is over, like you showed the magazine there, the winners of this competition will be on the cover of Golfweek.
That's good stuff. That's good motivation for the winners. That's
absolutely,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Now, when we talk about the event this week being the Tour Championship, obviously to play in a Tour Championship, you generally have to earn your way here. And as we were talking about before we went on air, 42 tours across the country is what you have. So if you could explain to our viewers a little bit about how it works and how somebody qualifies, that'd be great.
Sure. The 42 tours, obviously some have started earlier than later, so most of my tours, the average tour has about 80 players. There are 5 flights on the tour based upon your ability, Champ, A, B, C, D. Each of the flights qualifies their top 10 guys to come to this championship. Obviously, not everyone can come, so the average city brings 20 to 25 guys.
Out of all of those handicap divisions?
Out of all those handicap divisions. So they might bring 5 in Champ, 3 in A, 12 in B, whatever. And then once that is determined, then we put together the finals down here for them. As a matter of fact, my A and B flight are so big we had to split them out. So A and B literally plays 2 separate courses one day, then they go back and play that course, and then the final day we take the top 100 A guys and they play one course, and the top 100 B guys play one course. Champ flight has about 100 guys in it, C has 128, and D has 80 players. These are the best players from around the country competing in our national championship. And
when you talked before about the way that the flights break down, like you said, the championship flight has a handicap index of 0 to 3.9, A is 4.0 to 8.9, B flight is 9.0 to 13.9, C flight is 14 to 18.9, and D flight is 19 and up. So I guess if we read this correctly, the guys in the flights that have more entrants, they're the ones that are better off at telling their boss or finding a way to get out of work for the week.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe they're insurance agents. Yeah, but yeah, the great thing about that is we track only their tournament results. So on our webpage, what they shoot in our tournament is what we post, and that's how we go with those indexes. We don't care about what they shoot on their local course or anything like that. Not that that's not important to get a USGA index, but our index that we post on our webpage is strictly from the tournaments that they play in. not only on their local tour. The great thing about joining this tour, you can play anywhere in the country. So Hilton Head has a local tour. If I'm happen to be down here on vacation, I can pick up a tournament that I'm missing in Charlotte and come down and play in Hilton Head while I'm down here vacationing.
Wow, that makes it nice. So you can do a little double duty.
That's right.
Honey, I'm glad we're on vacation. I'm just going to go play a little golf this morning, and maybe it'll be a competitive round. You never do know.
Right.
6th year here on Hilton Head. You said you're contracted for another 4 more.
That is correct.
Why Hilton Head?
My wife and I fell in love with it when we first moved here from Charlotte. I've played all over the Carolinas. I think the best courses are in the Carolinas myself personally. I grew up in the Midwest. And when we fell in love with it, we still had a contract at Myrtle Beach, and when it expired, I contacted Palmetto Dunes first, and we worked out a deal with 4 courses, because back then they had the Palmetto Hall courses. As the tour expanded, then I contacted Heritage Golf Group. We're in Sea Pines Plantation this year on the Ocean Course, so it just kind of has blossomed through basically my wife and I's love of the island. And I know they're quality champions.
You're also at Arthur Hills this week?
Yeah.
And the Arthur Hills course, the Arthur Hills course at Palmetto Dunes?
That's correct. That is our headquarter course.
Okay.
That's where the main scoreboard is. We're in Hilton Head Plantation playing Oyster Reef and Country Club of Hilton Head. We're in Palmetto Hall playing the Hills course there. We're at Robbers Row in Port Royal. And then, as we said, the Jones course and the Hills course in PD, as well as the Ocean course in Sea Pines Plantation. First time this year for Sea Pines.
Some good courses.
Those are. Did you have something you wanted to ask Dennis there, RJ?
Well, how does you just, any local person around? I mean, how do you find this tour? How do you sign up for it? What do you have to do to qualify for it?
Sure. Is now the power search engines, the internet. We do have our own webpage. It's amateurgolftour.net. If you go to it, you'll find all the information about locally what's going on, the schedule of the cities. We do brochures, and we put them out at all the local golf courses, golf retailers. If a city currently does not have a tour, that's how I find a lot of new directors, is guys will contact me and say, hey, I'm involved in golf, or I want to start a tour out here. How would I go about doing that? And I put those wheels in motion to process that through.
Nice.
Well, Dennis, we wish you all the luck this week. We hope the weather is good for you and the tournament goes great. Thank you very much for taking a little time to be here.
All right, thanks for
having me. When we come
me.
back, myself and RJ are going to give you a few tips to help your golf game right after this.